Ο πόλεμος στην Ουκρανία αλλάζει το γεωπολιτικό αλλά και το ενεργειακό τοπίο παγκοσμίως. Στη γειτονιά μας, στην περιοχή της Ανατολικής Μεσογείου, οι αλλαγές είναι πολλές και σημαντικές, όχι μόνο λόγω του πολέμου στην Ουκρανία, αλλά και λόγω των ευρημάτων φυσικών πόρων που υπάρχουν στην περιοχή. Όλα αυτά θα τα συζητήσουμε με τον Οσάμπα Μομπάρεζ, ο οποίος είναι ο Γενικός Γραμματέας του East Mediterranean Gas Forum και πρώην Υφυπουργός Ενέργειας της Αιγύπτου. Hello, thank you for joining us here in Euronews during the Delphi Economic Forum. The current geopolitical situation has shown in the most emphatic way the importance of cooperation. How is the East Mediterranean Gas Forum contributing in this direction?
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and thank you for this opportunity. So the East Mediterranean Gas Forum has been established before the war between Russia and Ukraine erupted. But as you said, it's what happened last year put more emphasis and importance on the EMGF and what it wants to achieve. Our main objective is how can we monetize and develop the gas resources in the region to the benefit of the region and the people. And this definitely has to do with a lot of collaboration. And this is what we're trying to do, not just with our member countries, but also with the other stakeholders in the region. For instance, last year there was signed a trilateral MOU between Egypt, Israel, and the European Union, with the main objective to how can we accelerate the gas supplies from the region to Europe, and also to do this in a more responsible way, the decarbonized gas. And this MOU was signed on the sidelines of our ministerial meeting last year.
Is there a potential in this region, the region of the East Mediterranean, as far as concerns resources? For example, we see Cyprus announcing all the time findings. Do you think that these findings are important? Do you think that, for example, the resources that are in the area are enough to contribute to the diversification of energy that is the objective for almost everyone now?
Yes, so there are already productions from Egypt and Israel. There are also some discoveries that are not yet developed, they are not producing, but also there is a lot of potential, not just in Egypt and Israel, but also in Cyprus and some other places in the East Mediterranean. So there are some studies, some reports from for instance, the US Geological Survey issued a report maybe 3 years ago saying that in the region there is around 300 TCF of gas yet to be found. This is substantial. Yes, this might not be other major gas producers, but this is enough to diversify the supply for Europe.
Where are we with East Med gas pipeline? Are things moving forward?
So at the EMGF, we're trying to work on different levels, short-term, medium-term, and long-term. So the current short-term, which has to do with the current crisis of gas supplies in Europe, we're depending more on the existing infrastructure, which in this case is the LNG in Egypt. And the LNG in Egypt has spare capacity, which is bringing Israeli and Egyptian gas to the European Union. On the medium and longer term, there are other options, whether expansion of LNG, establishing other LNG facilities, or pipeline projects like the East Mediterranean and some other options as pipelines.
Is there really a crisis in the energy supplies in Europe? Because there were a lot of fears because of the war in Ukraine about energy security. Is it so bad as the scenarios were predicting?
So I think last winter and the beginning of 2023, I think it went well. No major disruptions of supplies, and even we can see now prices have gone down drastically. But it's not just only this year. We're talking about winter, end of 2023 and 2024. And I think one of the reasons, or some of the reasons that Europe let's say, did not have disruptions of gas supplies is that it was a relatively mild winter, and Russia and most of Southeast Asia had low demand of gas, so there was abundant gas supply surpluses. But now with China coming on stream again, I mean demand coming on stream. Other major economies in the Southeast Asia are coming up again. There might be some concerns about gas supplies.
There are analysts saying that because of China, exactly because of what you said, the next winter is going to be the difficult one.
Yes, exactly. That's why I think the European Union and also a lot of other European countries are working on different projects, different policies. How can they reduce demand, be more energy efficient, and at the same time introducing new regasification facilities, contracting more gas supplies, and hopefully with these measures things would be better.
The war in Ukraine seems to have sped up a little bit things with energy transition. It has promoted renewables. How important is that?
So definitely we need to be aware that although we're dealing with an energy crisis, that means we need to look at energy security, but at the same time we need to do this without forgetting the climate and the climate challenge. And I guess this is what Europe is doing, and not just Europe, different parts also of the world is doing this. And this is a priority for us at the EMGF. We're trying to strike the right balance between energy security and at the same time energy transition. We're trying to produce more gas, but in a more responsible way.
How are you trying to do that?
We're trying to do this with first using the existing technologies, decarbonization of the gas along its value chain, and also looking at new technologies. How can we do this even better? Last year, during 2022, we spent most of 2022 developing what we call the EMGF Gas Decarbonization Initiative, which we presented during the COP27 that took place in Egypt last November. It was well received, and the report states what's the state line, what's the baseline of the emissions of the gas industry in the region, and also what are the projects that are ongoing for the decarbonization, and it sets strategic directions, and also it sets a plan for the next 6 to 8 years, what kind of policies that we should adopt, what are the regulations that we need to endorse, and what are the projects that we need to do, and how can we encourage the companies to invest in these projects.
Are the countries that you're dealing with in the forum willing to take such measures as the ones that you mentioned?
Yes, definitely. The EMGF we have 8 member countries. We have Egypt, Israel, Palestine, Jordan, Cyprus, Greece, Italy, and France. And we also have 3 observers. We have the US, the EU, and the World Bank. And all our member countries and the observers are quite enthusiastic about what we're doing, whether producing more gas in a more responsible way, and also the climate consciousness of production on all activities of gas. And all our countries have endorsed the EMGF decarbonization report that we were just discussing, and also now all the countries are supporting us with the implementation of this report.
Thank you very much for this discussion και ευχαριστούμε και εσάς που μας παρακολουθήσατε.